This shit is endless. What I speak is the truth. I don't care if it's offensive. 12 rounds hit hard, and this shit gon' go the distance. Way to exit cool, but wait till you see the interest. Know that we them niggas when we walk inside the entrance. Put me as the GOAT, you should be honored to get a mention. All my clips is standard, but I still get extensions. Switch on the big 30, sound like when it's spitting. Album so high, I had to give them an extension. One bust till they bury me. Yeah, that's the commitment. Don't trust the soul, niggas purring or they hissing. And when it's so much, they didn't think I put the fix it. Get the game to go my way, they gon' thinking that I rigged it. If I say it in my raps, I would do it or I lived it. What you say in your raps is entertainment, you just kidding. Hard times, I got tired of being broke, so I fixed it. This pole get the job done. Nigga, this is stick shit. What I speak is the truth, I don't care if it's offensive. The life that I chose, no turning back, we in this. They don't understand till we tell them no forgiveness. Rain on them, 40 days, 40 nights, shit is endless. What I speak is the truth, I don't care if it's offensive. This the life that we chose, no turning back, we in this. They don't understand when we tell them no forgiveness. Rain on them, 40 days, 40 nights, this shit is endless. In reincarnation, so you know this endless. I'm solidified and stamped, that's why I walk with a signet. Build it from the ground up, did it all independent. Don't put your head in my business, to the wall I'm appended. They say I walk around like I'm perfect, bitch, I'm sinless, blameless. And if you ain't the same, I'm against it. Was born with the shit, the other half, I'm just gifted. 20 on me, wish a nigga would so I could spend it. Start from the branch, then I ain't at the soil. You got a peer on me, that'll leave your family tree for you. Can't catch you, then I get your man, make him lord you. The only comp is me, and I'm trying to be cordial. I feel like I'm royal, you interchange with the mind. I love a 10 with a sexy walk, but I take a switch with a 9. Gear up and go crazy when they tell me it's time. Empty the whole clip to the last shot like the game on the speak is the truth. I don't care if it's offensive. The life that I chose, no turning back, we in this. They don't understand till we tell them no forgiveness. Rain on them, 40 days, 40 nights, shit is endless. What I speak is the truth. I don't care if it's offensive. This the life that we chose, no turning back, we in this. They don't understand when we tell them no forgiveness. Rain on them, 40 days, 40 nights, this shit is endless.
Yeah. Y'all know what it is. It is the ISUPK. That's the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge out of Harlem, New York, since 1969 under commanding General Yohana. And we have been sent out to teach the so-called Black, so-called Hispanic, and so-called Native American people that we are the lost sheep of the house of Israel. We are the Jews. Give me that out, Matthew. Give me the Jews. Matthew, what's that? Matthew 15 and 24. Look. Tonight's class is an interesting class, all right? What was the state of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American people before the Civil Rights Movement? We know what state Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American people are after the Civil Rights Movement because we in it. We in it, in and out of prison. Divorce rate is the highest rate in the country. Black on black crime is crazy. Abortions since 1975, over 20 million abortions. All right. So we see the effect of the Civil Rights Movement. But the question is, what was the state we were in before the Civil Rights Movement? But give him that mic out. Before the Civil Rights Movement, what was our state? One thing that we must understand, Yahushua, which is known to the world as Jesus Christ, his name is Yahushua Mashiach. He was very clear on who he was sent to. Give it to me, out.
You want 14?
Give me 15. What's 15 say?
And 15 and 14?
20, no, 15 and 24, isn't it? Salakia. Like, we have to understand that we are at war, right? And because we are at war, we have to understand it's a certain type of way we have to move. We have to be unified, right? That's what we have to be. We have to be unified. Give me Matthew chapter 15 and verse 24. Read.
Book of Matthew chapter 15, verse 24.
Understand, this is who Yahushua came for. This is who he came for. Read.
But he answered and said.
But he answered. This is what the Most High said after speaking to a so-called white woman in the scriptures. All right. He was speaking to a so-called white woman in the scriptures, and she wanted something from Yahweh, and this is what he said. Read it again from the top.
But he answered and said, I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
He said, but I am not sent. That means someone sent him. Well, who sent him? The Father, Yahweh. He sent him. He said, but he answered and said, I am not sent. But, this is what he said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. The house of Israel is the 12 tribes of Israel that's on this earth right now. It is the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American on this side of the earth.
That's right.
All right. On this side of the earth. All right. Salvation is to the 12 tribes of Israel. Give me Hebrews 8:8. We're going to get a clear understanding. And then we're going to get into the state of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans before the civil rights movement. We're going to get a chance to look at a film and actually see the state we were in. And the question is, did the civil rights movement, did it hurt us or did it help us? You got it?
Kind of concern.
Read.
Book of Hebrews, chapter 8, verse 8. For finding fault with them.
Finding fault with them is talking about us. Finding fault with us. Who is them? The 12 tribes of Israel. Read.
He saith, behold, the day come, said the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with
a what?
New covenant.
So he's saying, I'm going to make a new covenant. I'm going to make a new contract. I'm going to make a new agreement. Right? Read.
With the house of Israel.
No, with everybody.
The house of Israel.
No, with everybody on the planet, the whole world.
The house of Israel.
You sure it don't say everybody? House of Israel. Read that from the top and let those that are listening hear who's the covenant with. We always talk about the covenant. Well, who's the covenant with? Read.
For finding fault with them.
Read.
He said, behold, the day come, said the Lord,
right,
when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel.
No, everybody.
With Israel.
No, the whole planet.
With Israel.
With Israel. I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel. Read.
And with the house of Judah.
Oh, and with the house of Judah. There's the and. He didn't say with the house of Israel and the house of Judah and everybody on the planet that believe. Did he say that?
Lie, sir.
You sure? That's not what they told us on the plantation, though. That's not what they told us. They told us that it was for everybody, right? You got any more on that? Read.
Not according to the verse, we're verse 9. Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt.
Now you know that, listen, he's saying very clear, not according to the covenant that I had made with their fathers. You sure it say their fathers? Let me make sure. That's what it says. It says their fathers in the day that I took them out of the land of Egypt. He didn't take everybody out of the land of Egypt, did he?
Lie, sir.
Did he take the Egyptians? Well, you know what, Salakia, the Egyptians did come out of the land of Egypt. They came out, but they were killed. They were destroyed. The Most High killed them. Vengeance is the Most High power. So they came out there chasing us, but they met their demise. There's a difference between us and them. So what this is showing is, this is speaking about our fathers when he led us by our hand out of the land of Egypt. So it can't be talking about everybody. Read.
Because they continue not in my covenant, and I regarded not them, said the Lord.
So he said that we continue not in our covenant. It's talking about a specific group of people. It's talking about the 12 tribes of Israel, right? Because he led us out of Egypt by our hands, right? Read.
Verse 10.
Read.
For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel.
No, and everybody. It gotta say everybody. Listen, when I was just at home. I was just at the crib. I was talking to my mom on the phone. She told me the covenant is with everybody. Read that again, because she's listening. Read it again.
Verse 10.
Come on.
For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel.
So he's saying this is the contract that I'm going to make with the house of Israel. This is the covenant that I'm going to make with the house of everybody. This is the covenant that he's going to make with so-called whites and so-called Chinese and so-called everybody on the planet. Is that what he's saying?
Loud, sir.
Read it again for my mom can hear. She's listening.
Verse 10. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel.
With the house of Israel. Read.
After those days,
Come on.
said the Lord,
Read.
I will put my laws into their minds.
I will put it where?
Into their minds.
Come on.
And write them in their hearts.
That means when he write it in our hearts, it's going to be the center of everything that we do. Why? Because it's in our mind. It's in my mind how I pick this ink pen up. It's in my mind how I drink and sip on my drink. It's in my mind. It's like a muscle memory. It's automatic. So he's going to write those laws on our hearts, on our minds. Read. Any more on that?
Come on, sir.
Read.
And I will be to them a God, and they shall be to me a people.
That's it. And that verse.
Come on, sir.
All right, that's it. All right, so look, we see that the covenant is with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. All right. So what was the state of the house of Israel and the house of Judah? Salakia, one more. Jeremiah 3:18. What was the state of blacks, Hispanics, and Native American people before the civil rights movement? What is the civil rights movement? What is the civil rights movement and where did it come from? Now, it's some dates that I want to throw out there real quick. And I want you guys to see what we're going to do is right now, we're going to read the civil rights movement. All right. So let me see. All right. You get it? All right. Now, the date is important. Can you see that out? If you can, I can read it. You can't read it? You can't see it? Hold up. Let me bring it up on the whole screen. What about now? Can you see it?
Hold on. Let me try to make this full screen.
I just did. I made it full screen. Can you see?
On my screen. Yeah, I got it on my screen.
All right, let's get it. Now, I want everyone that's listening to this video, right? I want you guys to understand the date. The date is very important because remember, we're going to explore right before the civil rights movement. What was the state of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans right here in the land of the North? What was the state of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans when it comes to the economy? What was the state of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans according to those that was studying us? Remember, we read get that book up there on the third shelf, the mind of the how they researched us, the mind of the black man, right there. Third, go to your right, down, no, right there, to your right, bang, right there. Get that to Mataziala. All right, so look, let's read about the civil rights movement and let's get into it. Now, notice the date. Read up. Start right at the top where it says this article.
All right, from Wikipedia, the Free Encyclopedia. This article is about the 1954 to 1968 movement in the United States.
All right, stop right there for a second. Notice what it says. It says 1954. That's very important because it's saying from 1954 to 1968, from 1964 to 1968, this is when the civil rights movement, this is when it really started kicking in. Go ahead, read up.
Khan. For earlier movements in the United States and others elsewhere, see civil rights movement disambiguation.
All right, so look, remember, 1954 is key because 1954 is what? That's the beginning of the civil rights movement. So in order to understand the state of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we have to look at from before 1954. We had to go 1954, that's our reference point, and then backwards. Y'all got me? Go ahead.
The Civil Rights Movement was a political movement and a campaign from 1954 to 1968 in the United States to abolish institutional racial segregation, discrimination, and disenfranchisement throughout the United States. The movement had its origins in the Reconstruction era during the late 19th century. Although it made its largest legislative gains in the 1960s after years of direct actions and grassroots protests. The social movement's major nonviolent resistance and civil disobedience campaigns eventually secured new protections in federal law for the civil rights of all Americans.
Notice what it says, and I'm gonna let you stop right there. Notice what it says. It says all Americans. Does it say all blacks? Does it say all Hispanics? Does it say all Americans? No, it's letting you know that the civil rights movement, it was involving all Americans. So what does that mean? That means that anybody can be a minority. Chinese people come over here, they can be a minority. Homosexuals can be a minority. Anybody can be a minority. This is why it says the civil rights movement was for all Americans. Anyone that was an American, yes, you can participate in it. So remember, the point is 1954 to 1968, reference point 1954, right? So that's our reference point. All right. So now we're going to take a look at the state of blacks, Hispanics, and Native American people before the civil rights movement. All right. Before the civil rights movement, what was the state of black? Hey, yo, get this clown off of there. So you know, you got to have some clown on here acting up. So we got a clown on there. All right. So now what we're going to do is, here we come. Let's take a look. Let's look at the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Let's look at the state of black people before the civil rights movement. All right. Now, notice what it says, what I'm about to pull up, right? Look at this. Watch this. Notice what it says. What does that say? It says the selling of Salakia, the secret of selling Negroes. Why don't it say the secret of selling to Negroes? This is a film, and this film was from where? What date on this film? 1954. Why am I bringing that up? Because that's our reference point. From 1954 and backwards, right? To like maybe 1900, we're going to examine the state of blacks, Hispanics, and Native American people. And then we're going to compare it to today. All right. Now, what they did was they studied us. Let me get that book right there real quick. Let me get that book. In this book right here, it's letting you know that they studied us from 18. Let me real quick. Look, now right here it says that they studied us from 1817 to 1914, right? And what is this? This is Salakia. Can y'all see that? This is an American history book. You can see it right there in the corner right here. Right there. It says what? American history book. All right. So this is American history book. Now we read out of this book. The reason why I'm letting you see this is because it says the black mind, the black image in the white man's mind. So they were studying us. So now we're about to see the video on some things that they were studying us about, because civil rights movement was really a business move. It wasn't because they like you. It wasn't because they wanted to be equal with you. It's not because they wanted to be one nation with you. Because remember, blacks, Hispanics, and Native American people are not even mentioned in the Constitution. They had to put an amendment in there to mention it to us. We're going to do a class on that later, but we're not even mentioned really in the Constitution. We're property in the Constitution. All right? Right. So let's look at the state of blacks, Hispanics, and Native American people before the civil rights movement. All right?
Hello, I'm Bob Trout. I've got a story here that I think is big, really big, because it's bound to have a terrific impact on business. I'm talking about a new market, a big new market. Millions upon millions of new prospects with $15 billion to spend. That's right, I said $15 billion.
Let me start that over.
I'm Bob Trout.
Now he's saying, look, now he's saying, he's doing a video and he said, I'm Bob Trout, right? I got some good news for you. That's what he's saying. I got some news. He's not talking to blacks, Hispanics, and Native American people. Remember, the video is called Selling a Nigga, Selling a Negro. It's not saying sell to a Negro. It's the name of this video is called. This video was made in what year? 1954. When did the civil rights movement begin? 1954 to 1968. That's the movement right there. That's the core of it. So before 1954, they're about to show you the state of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans before 1954. All right? Listen to what he's saying.
I've got a story here that I think is big, really big, because it's bound to have a terrific impact on business. I'm talking about a new market, a big new market. Millions upon millions of new prospects with $15 billion to spend.
What? 15? Now, this is 1954. $15 billion. So he's talking to consumers. He's talking to the economy. He's talking to America. He's talking to those of the land of the North. You got that, Jeremiah 3:18? That's who he's talking to. Let me keep going.
That's right. I said $15 billion.
15
That's
billion.
a lot of money, isn't it? The surprising thing is that it's a fresh market, still full of opportunities. It grew up so fast, got so big in a hurry, that few of us realized its scope.
So they didn't really realize it. It just happened so fast, but those that were studying it, they saw it. From 1968, from 1868, from the time that we came off those plantations to 1954, he's testifying that, listen, it's an open market and it came quick, it came fast. It's worth 15 billion. What you think it's worth today? In 1954, it was worth 15 billion. All right, go ahead.
Now, these days, nobody's likely to pass up chances to sell. And yet right here in our own front yard, there's a neglected market. There's money waiting to be spent. To get the story of this market, to be able to tell you the secret of selling the Negro, we did a lot of digging. We talked to leading businessmen, the customers, and the salesmen. We went to Washington, D.C. We set up cameras and other key points around the nation. And out of this all, there emerged a story, the story of a new market.
There it is. Look at your slave master name you putting up. He letting you know, listen, emerges a new market. The first thing they show you, the Andrews. The Andrews was the so-called white man who owned these people, that owned blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. This is the new market. Well, what's the new market? The Andrews. Well, who's the Andrews? Slaves. Slaves. These are the Negro that we're selling. Notice it says not sell. Look at the title. The secret of selling the Negro. I want y'all to notice that. The secret of selling the Negro, not selling to the Negro, but selling the Negro. The Negro is the commodity.
Right.
We are the spending power.
Damn right.
All right. This is the power that we have. This is the strength that we have. This is the reason why they wanted to stop Kyrie Irving, because Ye already stepped up to the plate. He already made a fuss about everything that's going on. He didn't already did it. But now, when Kyrie started doing it, they had to put a halt to it. They had to have Kyrie bend over and cough. Bend over and cough. Cough hard, I can't see. That's what they did. He bent over and he coughed, but he didn't cough hard enough. So they had to make him cough more. That means they had to make him apologize specifically. And I was going to do a show tonight on Kyrie's apology, but it was so disgusting. I just changed it at the last minute, right? So these are the Andrews, right? Let's keep going. Young, Jones, all slave masters.
Yes, this is the market we're talking about, the new Negro family.
What's the new market? The Negro.
Smith or Brown.
Salakia. What's the new market? Selling the Negroes. Listen, the new market is not selling to the Negroes. The new market is selling the Negroes. He's going to show America how we could use the Negroes to better and benefit our economy, not sell to the Negroes. That would have been too offensive, but sell the Negroes.
Or Alexander or Breen. They live in Chicago, in Atlanta or New York, in Detroit, St. Louis, Los Angeles, any one of the thousand cities and towns. All over the country, families such as this are enjoying new prosperity. They have new interests, new standards of living, a buying power they've never enjoyed before. There are good prospects for practically all types of goods and services. All too often, though, they're overlooked prospects. Why? Because of some good, valid reason? No. They're overlooked because of mistaken ideas. Because of out-of-date ideas about how the Negro lives, and how he buys. The truth of the matter is that the Negro is pretty much the same as other folks. He buys pretty much the same way, too. But just the same, a lot of old doubts and opinions keep cropping up over and over again.
I don't like to do business with Negroes. They're drifters. You can't keep track of them.
Yes, although a lot of people think that way, the truth is that 1 out of every 3 Negro families living in cities today owns its own home.
Yo, they don't even talk about us like that. 1 out of every 3 Negroes own their own home. Oh, it gets better. So this is the state of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American people. All right? Listen to everything very carefully. The state we're in before the Civil Rights Movement. And I want you to think about the state we're in now.
That figure comes directly from the United States Bureau of Census.
Maybe so, but Negroes are poor credit risk.
Not more of a credit risk than any other group. Actually, the Negro homebuyer meets his payments faithfully.
Hey, you don't hear that now. He said, actually, the Negro, they make their payments. We don't make our payments now. We don't make our payments now. But before 1954, we was on that. That was our mindset. We was focused on life. We was focused on family. We was focused on our wife. We was focused on our children. Our mindset was completely different before we integrated with the beast. Before civil rights said, listen, me and the beast have to go and sit in the room together. We fought to sit at the restaurant to eat in their restaurant. What do you think they were doing in the back when they was making your food? Whoever ate food that fought this, I think that was stupid. But I know, Salakia, our people say, oh no, our people fought for that. Maybe we shouldn't. Because right now it's showing you when we were separate, 1 out of every 3 own their homes and we made our payments on time.
And more faithfully than other race groups in the same economic level.
So the same race group in the same economic level, we made our payments. Listen to what he's saying very carefully.
That's the information we got from people who want to know. The National Association of Real Estate Boards.
Well, maybe, but I've always heard that Negroes buy shoddy, poor quality merchandise.
No, it's just the other way around. According to leading researchers, in proportion to population and income, Negroes buy more quality products than any other comparable United States group.
Well, we still do that today. Oh, yeah. We the number one. Hey, we on it. We don't want nothing that's fake. We want it real. We don't want Fucci. We want Gucci. All right?
You see, there are a lot of confused notions about the Negro customer. But when you dig right down and find out about them, they just don't hold water. Negroes own homes. They meet their payments faithfully. They buy good brands of merchandise.
Yo, Salakia, I'm sorry, Salakia, for keep stopping it, but you have to understand, this is not a conversation that we're having. Like, they don't talk about us like this. Listen to what he said about us back before the Civil Rights Movement. Listen to the language. Listen. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna play that again.
Than any other comparable United States group. You see, there are a lot of confused notions about the Negro customer. But when you dig right down and find out about them, they just don't hold water. Negroes own homes. They meet their payments faithfully. They buy good brands of merchandise. So why let a lot of old-fashioned ideas hurt profits? Take a look at the real facts. Here in Washington, D.C., the nation's capital, some amazing facts and figures about this new market.
All right, so what they get ready to do is they get ready to lay out some facts, all right? Because what they're doing is, remember, they studied us. They studied us. They understood that, hey, listen, we like to buy nice things. We don't like to buy Gucci. We like Gucci. We don't like the Nike Fikey. We buy Nike. We buy the name brand, right? We shop well and we spend money. We make our bit. Listen to what he's saying. We make our payments. We pay our car notes. We pay our mortgages. We own homes. We're doing great. Now, what's going to happen is he's going to DC, and they're going to break down exactly the state of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American people. Listen, before the Civil Rights Movement. And I want you to compare what you feel and what you think and what you see the state of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans right now in North America. Let me get that real quick in Jeremiah 3:18. Remember, he said he will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, right? Read.
Book of Jeremiah, chapter 3, verse 18.
Come on.
In those days, the house of Judah shall walk with the house of Israel.
So it says, in those days, the house of, what days? These days right here. In these late days, the house of Israel and the house of Judah. Read.
And they shall come together.
They shall do what?
Come together.
They shall come together. But Esau saw it. Hey, they're coming together. You know what? We're going to use them now. We can use them for economic purchases. Well, what does the scripture say that the house of Israel and the house of Judah, where would they be? Read.
Shall come together out of the land, Salakia, out of the land of the north.
Out of the land of what?
Of the north.
No, the south.
The north.
No, the west.
The north.
No, the east.
The north.
Out of the land of the north. What land is the land of the north? North America. So Esau knows this. He knows this. He knows that Judah and Israel are going to come together in that land of the north. But what his plan was, he brought this snake out. Salakia, he brought this snake out. And when he brought this snake out, he put this snake into motion. And who is this snake? Yo, give me that on leading into the burning building. Let me explain something to y'all, right? Martin Luther King, he was used by Esau to emerge us and to bring us together. And we're gonna go back to the film. We're gonna go back to the secret of selling a Negro, selling Negroes, right? So like the secret of selling the Negro. We're gonna get back to that. Remember, it doesn't say the secret of selling two Negroes, but it says selling the Negro. All right, because that's what it is. But what I want to pull up is right now is I want to pull up Martin Luther King, the one that actually led this movement, led this nightmare. You talking about it's a dream? Yeah, it was a dream, all right. A nightmare. All right. Go ahead, Al.
One day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
I must confess that that dream that I had that day has at many points turned into.
Pause that for a second, Al.
I'm not one.
No, notice what he said.
Keep on hoping.
You pausing? He said, notice what he said. He said, listen, that dream was a damn nightmare. That was a horror movie. That was a horror show because Michael loved Esau. Michael, when I say Michael, I'm talking about Martin. Martin loved. He had a different type of, listen, let me tell you something. I love my sisters. I love chocolate. I love cocoa. I don't like vanilla. I never was a vanilla guy. But this man, Mr. Martin, he loved vanilla. And this is the reason why he had that dream. All right. Yo, get Jeremiah 14. Go ahead, play that.
That day has at many points turned into a nightmare.
Turned into a
I'm
nightmare.
not one to lose hope. I keep on hoping. I still have faith in the future. But I've had to analyze many things over the last few years, and I would say over the last few months. I've gone through a lot of soul-searching and agonizing moments. And I've come to see that we have many more difficult days ahead, and some of the old optimism was a little superficial, and now it must be tempered with a solid realism. And I think the realistic fact is that we still have a long, long way to go, and that we are involved in a war on Asian soil, which, if not checked and stopped, can poison the very soul of our nation. I'm not going to say that all of our problems will be solved if the war in Vietnam is ended, but I do say that the war makes it infinitely more difficult to deal with these problems. When a nation becomes obsessed with the guns of war, it loses its social perspective, and programs of social uplift suffer. This is just a fact of history, so that we do face many more difficulties as a result of the war. It's much more difficult to really arouse a conscience during a time of war. There is something about a war like this that makes people insensitive. It dulls the conscience. It strengthens the forces of reaction, and it brings into being bitterness and hatred and violence. I think the biggest problem now is that we got our gains over the last 12 years at bargain rates, so to speak. It didn't cost the nation anything. In fact, it helped the economic side of the nation to integrate lunch counters and public accommodations. It didn't cost the nation anything to get the right to vote established. Now we are confronting issues that cannot be solved without costing the nation billions of dollars. Now, I think this is where we're getting our greatest resistance. They may put it on many other things, but we can't get rid of slums and poverty without it costing the nation something. I feel that nonviolence is really the only way that we can follow, because violence is just so self-defeating. A riot ends up creating many more problems for the Negro community than it solves. You can, through violence, burn down a building, but you can't establish justice. You can murder a murderer, but you can't murder through violence. You can murder a hater, but you can't murder hate. And what we are trying to get rid of is hate and injustice and all of these other things that continue the long night of man's inhumanity to man.
When we allow freedom reign, when we let it reign from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to
Salakia. All right. So what he's about to do is he's going to get the actual point of that video where he said he led us into the building. All right. But we're going to read what the scriptures say about these type of dreams. We're going to break down Martin Luther King's dream before we go back to the video. the secret of selling a Negro. All right, you got it?
Come on, sir.
Read.
Book of Jeremiah, chapter 23, verse 28.
Come on.
The prophet that have said a dream, let him tell a dream.
All right, so this is what Martin said. He said, I had a dream. So it says in Jeremiah 23 and 28, the prophet that had a dream. Well, who is that prophet that had a dream? Martin was the one that was considered the prophet, and he's the one that said that he had a dream. All right, take it from there. Read.
And he that has my...
Take it from the top.
So like, the prophet that had a dream.
The prophet that had a dream. Read.
Let him tell a dream. And he that had my word, let him speak my word faithfully.
See, Martin wasn't speaking his word faithfully because the scripture says that we are holy, we are set apart. We're going to look at that. All right. The scripture says that we are set apart. So we're not equal with anyone. All right. So when he says, and he that had my word, let him speak my faithful, because Martin wasn't speaking his faithful. Read.
What is the chaff to the wheat, said the Lord?
Salakia, let that play. Let that play. Salakia. We live here in a town called Smyrna. And when that horn plays, that horn is played from the 1800s, the 1700s, to let Negroes know that they can go in town and go shopping. So that's what that horn is for. That's not a fire horn. That's not giving us warning that it's a fire. It's letting us know that now we can go shopping in town. We can go outside and we should not be harmed. That's what that horn is played for. And they play it every day at 12 o'clock. All right. Go ahead. You got it?
Okay. What is the chaff to the wheat, said the Lord?
That's it?
Okay, sir.
All right, now go to Jeremiah 14 and 14. And we're going to look at Martin. Martin wasn't speaking based on faith. You got it? Jeremiah 14 and 14.
Book of Jeremiah, chapter 14, verse 14.
Come on.
Then the Lord said unto me, the prophet prophesies lies.
That's what Martin did. He prophesied what?
Lies.
He prophesied lies. Never did the Most High say that we're equal with anybody. Hold that. Go to Deuteronomy 7 and 6. Deuteronomy 7 and 6. Never where we were equal with anyone. Martin's dream was that we all are equal. Blacks, white, Hispanics, or whatever. I mean, blacks, white, everybody. We're not equal. We're not holding hands and singing songs. Why would Esau hold my hand and sing a Negro song? I wouldn't want you to hold my hand and sing a Negro song, because this song is not for you. This song is for the destruction of you. All right? You got it? Read.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 6.
Come on.
For thou art a holy people.
The word holy means to be set apart. Thou art a holy people. Read.
Unto thy Lord thy God.
Come on.
The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people.
No, to be a equal people with everybody else.
Special people.
So he chose you to be a special people. Read.
Unto himself.
Unto who?
Unto himself.
So he chose you. Out of everything on this table right now, I'm going to choose this to be a special piece. That's what he's saying. I chose you to be a special people. Read.
Above all people.
No, equal.
All people.
No, eye to eye.
Above all people.
No, hand to hand.
Above all people.
No, side by side.
Above all people.
Above. This is above. This is above. This phone is above this. This is above. I got to help out my brothers. This is above. Read.
Above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
Of all people that's on the face of the earth. Give me Deuteronomy 14 and 2. Remember, the Most High gave us commandments. And one of those commandments was we're not equal. I'm not equal to Esau. I can run faster than him. I can jump faster than him. I'm smarter than him. I move better than him. My ebonics, my flavor, my energy, everything is better than him. Everything. What you got? Deuteronomy 14:2. Read.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 14, verse 2. For thou art an holy people.
Holy, there it is again. The word holy means to be sanctified. It means to be sacred. It needs to be set apart. It means that you are special. Holy means to be salakia, set apart. All right, go ahead.
Unto the Lord thy God.
Unto who?
The Lord thy God.
Come on.
And the Lord hath chosen thee to be a peculiar people unto himself, above all the nations that are upon the earth.
Above all the nations. That means everybody it's no equal opportunity here. We're not equal. Martin's dream was alive. And before 1954, it's going to show you. Salakia. Can you get me Mataji Ali? Give me some more. All right. So it's saying above all nations on the face of the earth. Read.
Verse 3. Thou shalt not eat any abominable things.
No. Salakia. Was that it on verse 19?
That was 14 and 2.
All right. Give me Jeremiah. Give me Genesis. Give me Genesis 12 and 1. All right. And then we're going to go back to the video. All right. Because he was getting ready to testify the states of blacks, Hispanics, and Native American people.
What was the verse, sir?
Go to Genesis 12 and 1. Remember, we have a patriarch by the name of Abraham. All right. And Abraham actually is he's the one that received the call. He's the one that received the covenant. Go ahead. Read.
Book of Genesis, chapter 12, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
And now the Lord has said unto Abraham, get thee out of thy country.
So the Most High told Abram, to get thee out from thy country. Go ahead.
And from thy kindle.
So separate yourself from your kinsmen. Get out of your country and separate yourself from your kinsmen. Read.
And from thy father's house.
And from your father's house. Go ahead.
Unto a land that I will
show thee. So now he's saying, go to the land that I will show you. That's the promised land. That's our own land. That's what we have our own. That's what we have our own import and export. That's what we have our own economics. That's what we have our own items that we sell to ourselves. It's our items that we import, export to other nations. This is how we build our wealth. All right, go ahead.
Verse 2. And I will make of these a great nation.
Notice he said to Abram, he says, I will make you a great nation. Not a great, that's got to say great nations. Do it say great nations?
Great nation.
Great nation. He said, I'm going to make you a great nation as in singular. Read.
And I will bless thee.
Come on.
And make thee name great. And thou shalt be a blessing.
Thou shalt be a blessing. What's going to be a blessing? The nation. The nation that he makes Abram will be a blessing. Give me Genesis 17 and 4. Remember, he made a covenant. We read about that covenant at the beginning. Now we're going to Genesis chapter 17 and verse 4. Read.
Book of Genesis, chapter 17, verse 4.
Come on.
As for me, behold, my covenant is with thee, and thou shalt be a father of many nations.
Now wait a minute. He said that I'm going to make you a great nation, but he told Abraham, I'm going to make you a father of many nations. That's what he said, right? But those many nations is not the many nations that will receive the promise. The promise will only come through one nation. Remember, he said, I will make you a great nation, right? But then in Genesis 17:4, it says, for as for me, behold, my covenant is with thee, and thou shalt be a father to many nations. Read.
Verse 5. Neither shall thy name any more be called Abraham, but thou name shall be Abraham.
Shall be what?
Abraham.
Come on.
For a father of many nations.
A father of many nations. But remember, he said he's going to make him one great nation, but he's going to make him a father of many nations. Read.
Have I made thee.
All right, that's all you got on that?
You want verse 6?
Give me, give me verse 6.
Verse 6. And I will make thee expedient, fruitful, and I will make nations of thee, and kings shall come out of thee.
You know what's real interesting about this? When I was a Christian, right, and I read this puzzled me, because it said that he would make thy seed multiply and become many nations. I'm not going to get too much into it as a Christian on what I was thinking. But I was the type of Christian that didn't just go to the church and watch and listen. I was the type of Christian that went to the church and wrote it down, went home and looked at it. And I had a problem with all of that trash. I'm not going to get into that right now. I'm going to get into that the next class, Wednesday class. But don't get it twisted. You have different type of Christians. You got Christians that go into church and just listen and don't say anything. You got Christians that go to church and they study, right? And then those Christians that study, some of those Christians take and receive and lie on and really, as I would say, lean on the navigation of the church on how they should understand the scriptures. But I wasn't that type. I was the type that, hey, listen, I'm going back to the etymology of the word from Hebrew. And when you go back to the etymology of the word from Hebrew, you start to see that the words mean different from how Esau see those words today. What was you at just now?
I was lost my place there.
Give me Genesis 25 and 1 and 2. Because it says that Abraham was a father of many nations. We know he had Ishmael. We know he had Isaac. And we know that Isaac was the seed of the promise. But who are these other children? What are these many nations? How did he make many nations? Because what we see from Ishmael and Esau, Salakia, from Ishmael and Isaac, that's only 2. Well, listen to this. Abraham had 8 sons. All right. Deuteronomy 25, 1 and 2. You got it?
Come.
Read.
Book of Genesis, chapter 25, verse 1.
Come on.
When again Abraham took a wife, and her name was Keturah.
So he laid with another woman after Sarah died. So Abraham laid with another woman after Sarah died. Read.
Verse 2. And she bare him Zeram and Joshan and Medan and Midian and Isupk and Sha'ah.
So look, he had 6 more sons, so that's 8. Those 8 sons created nations. So Abraham, according to the scriptures, became the father of what? Many nations. Salakia, many nations. All right. So now let's get back to the video. So Abraham became a father of many nations, and all nations was blessed by us. How was they blessed? Through the transatlantic slave trade. But we get ready to see a blessing right now. We get ready to see a blessing right as we speak. Let me pull it up. This is back to the secret of selling a Negro. All right. So where we left off at is we was getting ready to go to DC, and DC was getting ready to break down the state of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American people before the Civil Rights Movement. It's very important. Before the Civil Rights Movement. All right. So let me pull it up. All right. All right, here we go. So I'm getting ready to pull that back up, and we get ready to play now what Congress had to say about the matter. Let me make sure that I got it. And all right, here we go. And I'm going to be doing a little pausing and talking about it. Because remember, we know the state of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American people in America right now. Now we're looking at the state of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans before the Civil Rights Movement.
Market has been uncovered. For a first-hand report, we would like to take you directly to the United States Department of Commerce to hear this story from the Secretary of Commerce himself. Here is the Honorable Sinclair Weeks, the Secretary of Commerce of the United States.
In the Department of Commerce, we are constantly alert to trends that mean a healthier national economy, better business for the nation as a whole. Recently, we have been interested in a rising young market, one that represents a huge potential for goods and services. I'm referring to the new Negro market. The tremendous buying power of this group is backed, of course, by an increased earning power. The average Negro family's income is at a record high. In fact, since 1939, it has increased more than the average income of all other Americans.
All right, so you know what he's saying? He's saying since 1939, Negroes' finances has been growing since 1939. We don't hear that type of language right now. We don't hear that we're growing. We don't hear that we're growing. We don't hear all of this right here. They're really breaking it down. They're really breaking it down. And I really, I'm gonna go back just a little bit because I really want you to hear everything, and I'm not gonna stop it. We're gonna talk about it afterwards. All right.
The tremendous buying power of this group is backed, of course, by an increased earning power. The average Negro family's income is at a record high. In fact, since 1939, it has increased more than the average income of all other Americans. Just take a look at a few figures. An official...
Salakia. It's saying that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American people are growing faster than the so-called white man. That's what he's saying. He don't want to say that, but he's saying it because he's saying it's growing faster than any other American. So before the Civil Rights Movement, our economics, our growth was growing faster than anybody else in America. All right. So this is important. This is important because if this is a financial power, if this is economic power, I must get my hands on this. That's just like if I have a business and I want my business to grow, and there's consumers out there that wants to buy my brand, I'm going to do commercials. I'm going to do advertisements. I'm going to do anything I can to bring those people in, to let them people know. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American people, we are an economic power in America. We are the economic power of America. We are the backbone of America. And in 1954, before the Civil Rights Movement, they're showing you this. He's about to testify that the fastest growing group, the fastest growing economic power in this country is Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American people. That's what he's getting ready to show you. He's getting ready to testify Remember, we read the civil rights movement was between 1954 and 1968. So now in 1964, this man is going to testify why it's important for us to put the civil rights movement in place, for us to integrate blacks, Hispanics, and Native American people. This is going to bless this country. Well, didn't the scriptures say through Abraham, all nations will be blessed? Here come a blessing. We have to understand that unity. We have to understand that we need to come together. And when we come together, we control America, because what controls America is its economics. And in 1954, they realized that integration was important. That's why they hired Michael, which later became Martin Luther King. All right. This is why. And Martin Luther King realized that right before they killed him, that, hey, listen, I led my people in a burning building. And now I'm going to DC. This is what we were trying to pull up. All right. It's a special place. It's a specific place in that video where Martin says that I feel like I led my people in a burning building. And we're going to DC to get a check. And while he was on his way to get that check, they killed him. All right, here we go.
The Department of Commerce report shows that at least 1/3 of the Negroes are caused by an increased earning power. The average Negro family's income is at a record high. In fact, since 1939, it has increased more than the average income of all other Americans. Just take a look at a few figures. An official Department of Commerce report shows that at least 1/3 of the Negroes living in cities earn from $2,000 to $5,000 a year. Today, the average Negro wage earner brings home a paycheck 4 times larger than the one he collected in 1939. As a whole, the Negro market has a total income of about $15 billion every year. And after taxes, Negro families still have many billions of dollars to spend. Here is a buying power that cannot help but have a tremendous effect on our national economy and on business prosperity in general. When these dollars are spent for a wide range of goods, services, and employment, business everywhere is bound to feel the impact.
So he's saying, listen, niggas is growing. Here's what they saying. So like, yeah, let me drop that. Now, I suggest that every Black, Hispanic, and Native American people go and read that. Salakia, go and watch that, because it shows the state of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American people before the Civil Rights Movement, right? But I'm gonna tell you what happened. What happened in that what happened during that time, they realized something. They realized something. Go to Exodus chapter 1. They realized what was going on. And this is what they realized. Give me verses 1, chapter 1, verses 9. This is what they realized. They realized this. Read.
Book of Exodus, chapter 1, verse 9.
Come on.
And the people said, Salakia, and he said unto his people.
Well, who is the people? The people, Salakia. When he says, and now he said unto the people, this is Pharaoh. This is after the Pharaoh that knew Joseph had died. And when the Pharaoh knew Joseph that had died, go to verse 8.
Matter
of fact, Salakia, go to verse 7.
Sir.
Come on.
Book of Exodus, chapter 1, verse 7.
Come on.
And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly.
You know why? Because we were having sex. We didn't believe in sodomizing. We didn't believe in homosexuality. We didn't believe in abortion. We didn't believe that you should go and vacuum your baby out of your belly. We didn't believe that we should put our careers over having a child. We didn't believe none of that. All right. So Salakia, in Exodus chapter 1 and verse 7, it says, and the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly. We were having children. Go ahead.
And multiplied and waxed exceedingly mighty, and the land was filled with them.
That's how it was before the civil rights movement. They realized that. They realized the civil rights movement that the children of Israel was more fruitful. And they realized before the civil rights movement that the increase was more abundantly. And before the civil rights movement, they realized and they multiplied. And before the civil rights movement, they realized and they waxed exceedingly mightily. Before the civil rights movement, they realized and the land was filled with them. We were having babies. We didn't believe in sodomizing. We didn't believe that our career should be first. We believed in family first. We just saw on the film before 1954, that was the number one family. If you keep watching that film, he tells you a lot of great things about us and how we were moving and how it was important to bring us into the economy. So you know what? They had to hire someone. Satan had to hire someone and give that someone a dream that we all are one nation. Salakia, Mataziala, can you get that one nation out of the Apocrypha? Keep reading, not.
Verse 8. Now there arose up a new king.
Now there arose a new king. There arose a new president. That's what arose, a new president. Go ahead.
Over Egypt, which knew not Joseph.
Which knew not the children of Israel. Didn't give a hell about the children of Israel. As far as he's concerned, the children of Israel is nothing but slaves. Go ahead.
And he said unto his people.
This is what he said to Congress. This is what he said to DC. Go ahead.
Behold, the people of the children of Israel.
The people of the blacks, Hispanics, and Native American people, the people that were slaves in this country, go ahead,
are more and mighty than we.
They're more mighty than we. Why? Run faster, jump higher, smarter, invention, everything. The only thing Esau invented that was great was the patent office. To take our idea, go down to the patent office and patent it and claim it for themselves. That's the only thing they created that was good. Oh, that was a masterpiece right there. That was a way for Esau to steal everything that you got. Go ahead.
Verse 10. Come on, let us deal wisely with them.
That's the civil rights movement. Let us deal wisely with them. Before 1954, remember, they studied us, right? They studied us. You see the date? Between 1817 and 1914, they studied us. Read verse 19 again.
You mean verse
9, Salakia.
And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mighty than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them.
So in order to deal wisely with us, they have to study us. So in verse 9, he said unto the people, behold, the children of Israel are mightier than us. So let us deal wisely with them. Let us deal wisely with them. Read.
Lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when there
Go ahead.
Is that fullness?
Falleth
out of any war.
So if any war take place, go ahead.
They join also unto our enemies.
So they're more concerned about being overthrown by blacks, Hispanics, and Native American people. Go ahead.
And fight against us, and so get them up out of the land.
Remember, we are mightier than them. We're stronger than them. We can do everything better than them. So because we have this power, he has to deal wisely with us. We have to put in place something like Martin Luther King, a civil rights movement. Give him a dream. Let him have a dream against and is contrary to God's law. This is what Satan put in place. This is what the spirit of Satan was on this monster, Michael, Martin Luther King. He was a damn monster. Oh yeah, he was a damn monster. He was the destruction of blacks, Hispanics, and Native American people. You heard it from Esau's own mouth. Before the civil rights movement, which was from 1954 to 1968, the core of it, before that, man, we was the #1 family in America. We was the #1 purchasing power in America. We were the fastest growing people in America. We loved our wives. We loved our children. We loved our family. But once integration came, once this monster Martin came, he dreamed us a dream of his own dream, which was a nightmare. And he realized it, and it was just too late. Go ahead.
Verse 11.
Come on.
Therefore, they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens.
Come on.
And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities that Pitmoth, is that how you pronounce that?
Where you at?
And the
taskmaster affected them with the burden, and they built for Pharaoh treasure cities of Pithom and Ramsey. So we built their cities, just like we built Washington, D.C. That's why, just like we built America. We built this country. We built all these things, right? This is what we did. And the affliction of us became great and exceedingly. Like, for instance, they shot us when we were sitting in our house eating our cereal. They shot and killed us when we was in our house having just sleep, the sisters, right? They shot us and killed us because we were black. They did everything. They afflicted all of these injuries against us. They made our lives bitter. They made our lives a hard bondage. All right. This is what they did. Right. So now let's go to verse 15. Read.
Verse 15.
Come on.
And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrews midwives.
So he spoke to the doctor's office. Congress got together with the doctors. They got together with the nurses. They got together. Remember, it says that we have to deal wisely with them. So they got together in this country and dealt with the medical world. Right? Go ahead.
Of which the names of the one was Shipra, and the name of the other Parah.
Come on.
And he said, when ye do the office of a midwife.
That means that when you give the office of the midwife, meaning when you give birth to a child, when you are nursing a woman that Israelite, blacks, Hispanics, and Native American that's having a child, go ahead.
To the Hebrew woman.
Come on.
And see them upon the stool, if it be a son.
It's very important that it's a son because the son carries the seed. All right. It's very important that you have a son because this is how your family tree live on. All right. If I have a daughter and another man come and lie with my daughter and which I have daughters, and put a seed in that my daughter, that seed is the seed of that man. All right. It's the seed of that man. So it's very important to kill who? The sons. It says, I'm at verse 16. And he said, when thou do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women and see up on the stool, it be a son. Read.
Then ye shall kill him.
Then what?
Kill him.
Then you shall kill it. You're going to abort that child. You're going to what?
Kill him.
You're going to kill it. You're going to kill since 1975, 25 million Hebrews, sons and daughters. See, in this country, they don't give a hell about if it's a son or a daughter. Kill them all. Kill them all. Don't wait for the child to come out and see if it's a son. Before it's a son, kill him. Why? Because they had to deal wisely with us. They're dealing wisely with us. It showed you that they studied us between 1817 and 14. They showed you that. I just showed you a film where they said, hey, listen, we've been studying these people. This is a good economic build. This is $15 billion a year. If you keep watching that film, he goes to drinks and food and all cosmetic, everything. Get these people. These people buy, and we buy the best. We don't buy generic. We don't buy plated. We like original. We like real. We don't like Fucci. We like Gucci. Go ahead. What you got?
But if it be a daughter, then she shall live.
So if it's a daughter, it shall live. Why is he saying it's a daughter and she shall live? It's because the daughter is not the seed bearer. The reason why he's saying it is because the Egyptian can come and plant a seed in that earth, which is the woman. He can plant a seed into that woman, and that's an Egyptian child. Go ahead.
Verse 17. But the midwives feared God and did not as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the men, children alive.
So they didn't want to do it. They didn't want to do it. Go ahead.
And the king of Egypt called for the midwives and said unto them, why have ye done this thing and have saved the men, children alive?
So I told, what he's saying is, listen, didn't I tell you to kill the men? Kill them. When you see it as a son, kill him. So now Pharaoh called them together and said, why y'all ain't doing what I asked y'all to do? Go ahead.
And the midwife said unto Pharaoh, because the Hebrew woman are not as the Egyptian woman.
We're not the same, man. A sister is much stronger than an Egyptian. Let me tell y'all something. This is only my own theory, and I like to share it with you. On the plantation, a lot of people, a lot of humans died on the transferring from that land of Africa to America. I believe the only one that survived is the ones that the Most High Power ordained to survive. Those are the Israelites. I believe the spiritual hand of the Most High was on the transatlantic slave trade. And during the transatlantic slave trade, African women died. They couldn't take the journey. But my sisters are much stronger than they are. My sisters are more powerful than they are.
That's right.
My sisters are more smarter than they are. It's just our generics. Don't blame me. Blame the Most High. Read that again, verse 19.
And the midwife said unto Pharaoh,
come on,
because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian woman.
They not like them. They not like them. They weak. The body is weak. The organs are weak. The makeup of the Egyptian, which is the African woman, is weak. She can't take that ride. She can't take that ride across the waters. She weak. There's nothing strong about her. The most strongest women that ever walked this planet is Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American women. Read out.
For they are
lively.
Lively.
Come on.
And are delivered. The midwife come into them.
Come on.
Therefore God dealt well with the midwives, and the people multiplied and waxed very mightily.
I don't give a hell what they do. We gonna multiply greatly. Why? Because we are the lost sheep of the house of Israel. War must come. The king is coming. Yahweh Mashiach, which is known to the world as Jesus Christ, he's coming, and judgment is coming. And when that judgment coming, when he come, I'm hoping that he put me to work, because he said right now we are hunters, Salakia, we are fishermen. We are fishing, But when he come, we're gonna turn into hunters, Salakia. We're gonna turn into hunters. Well, I'm looking for work. Right now, I'm putting my application in. I'm looking for work. What else you got on that, huh?
And it came to pass, because the midwife feared God, that he made them houses. And Pharaoh changed all his people, saying, every son that is born ye shall cast into the river.
So listen, because they are so strong, because the midwives are letting Pharaoh know that the blacks, Hispanics, and Native American women are so much stronger than the African women, Pharaoh dealt wisely with them. He said, throw them in the river. Let me explain to you the throwing in the river. Today, he says, listen, we done killed over 23 to 25 million blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans since 1975. But they're still growing. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to throw them in the river. Well, what is the river? We're going to throw them in with the people. We're going to emerge. We're going to integrate them with the people. We're going to put Martin Luther King in place. We're going to put the civil rights movement in place so that they may integrate with the people. And when they integrate with the people, we're going to change their mind. We're going to change their thinking. We're going to change how they see things. We're going to teach them Salakia. We're going to teach them our gospel. We're going to teach them Caesar Borgia. We're going to teach them that we're mightier than them. So this is what took place, right? So now let's go to Salakia. Matter of fact, go watch that film on your own, right? But what we're going to do is go to Deuteronomy 28 and 1. All right. This is what happened to blacks, Hispanics, and Native American people. This is how Esau understood that if he deal wisely with us, according to the scriptures, if he teach us, Salakia, give me Matthew chapter, Salakia. Give me chapter Matthew 15 and 5. This right here is key point because we was told as blacks, Hispanics, and Native American people that love who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. We was told that we don't have to follow the law anymore. Esau understood that he has to deal wisely with us. So in Genesis chapter 25, Salakia, chapter 5 and verse 17, listen to what our king said, right? And Esau comes along with his gospel and says the complete opposite. So we're going to go to Matthew chapter 5 and verse 17. This is milk scripture. This is not scripture that is milk, Salakia, that is meat. This is milk. This is baby formula. This is what we teach in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Read, where you at?
Book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 17.
Come on.
Think not that I come to destroy the law.
So the Most High, Salakia, and the Most High did not send Yahweh Shah to change or destroy the law. Destroy means to get rid of it. The Most High did not teach, Salakia, send Yahweh Shah to get rid of the law. Go ahead.
Or the prophets.
Or the prophets. That means Psalms. That means Malachi. That means Zephaniah. That means any of the minor prophets. None of the prophets. He didn't come to get rid of destroy any of the Old Testament. Read.
Or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill.
Let me ask you a question. And this goes to anyone in the chat. What does fulfill mean? This is very important because unfortunately, fulfill for some Christians mean that he came and did the whole law and now I'm got to do nothing. I can be a homosexual. What does think not that I come to destroy, but but to fulfill. Do you know what it is? You have any idea what fulfill mean? And if you have a idea of what fulfill mean, give me the precept. Read. You got it?
Not the precept. So.
Salakia, give me John. Salakia, give me Luke 44. Salakia, give me a sec. Give me Luke 24 and 44. Listen, hold on. If you're at home and you're watching, please, Baba Kashar, that means please go get your precept book right now and write down Matthew chapter 5 and verse 17, which states, I'm gonna read it. Matthew chapter 5 and verse 17, it says, think not that I come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. What does fulfill mean? Because Christianity in the seminaries teach that fulfill means that Yahushua, which is ignorantly known to the world as Jesus Christ, came and put an end to the God's law. That's not what he's saying. This is what fulfill the law means. Tell him where you at, warrior.
In the book of Luke, chapter 24, verse 44.
Write that down, 24 and 44, because this is going to come across your plate many a times, where Christians are going to say that Jesus came to fulfill the law. We don't got to follow the law anymore. Well, what does the fulfill the law means? Read up.
And he said unto them, these are the words which I speak unto you.
So these are the words. This is what I'm saying to you. When he says, these are the words which I speak unto you, he's saying, this is what I'm saying to you. Go ahead.
While I was yet with you.
Well, every time that I was rolling with y'all, every time that we was kicking it, every time that we was out on the block, every time when we was on the corner, every time when we was in the club, every time that we was everywhere, he's saying, while I was yet with you. Go ahead.
That all things must be fulfilled.
Everything must be fulfilled. Remember, we read in Matthew chapter 5 and verse 17, think not that I come to destroy the law, but I came to fulfill. Read.
Which were written in the law of Moses and in the prophets and in Psalms concerning me.
Concerning me. That's fulfilling the law. Like, for instance, he had to go to the cross and be thirsty and receive vinegar. He had to go to the cross and be crucified, not for anything that he did, but what we did. All of those things had to be fulfilled. So when it says, go back to Matthew 17. So when he says, think not that I come to destroy the law or the prophets, I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. Well, what is fulfill? Fulfill means to fulfill and do the things that was written concerning him. Why? Because he's the Messiah. What is going to be the evidence that he's the Messiah? The things that was written in the Old Testament. Give me Romans 1 and 1. The things that was written in the Old Testament was written concerning him. He had to go to the cross. He had to die for our sins. He had to die not for his own, but for us. He had to get those lashes for us. That's fulfilling the scriptures. All right? What you got?
Book of Romans chapter 1 verse 1.
This is what it's all about. Read.
Paul, a servant of Jesus Christ.
Come on.
Called to be an apostle.
Read.
Separate unto the gospel of God.
So he was separated unto the gospel of the most high power. Read.
Which he had promised afford by.
So he promised everything that he's talking about, he's getting ready to talk about. It was before, go ahead.
Promised before by his prophets.
So it was promised before, where? By his prophets. Read.
In the Holy Scriptures.
In where?
The Holy Scriptures.
So it was prophesied in the Holy Scriptures. So when he says, think not that I come to destroy the law, but I come to fulfill, go back to Matthew 5 and 18. When he says, think not that I come to destroy the law. I come not to destroy, but to fulfill. Well, what is fulfill? Fulfill means to do everything that was concerning him. All right? Everything that was prophesied about our king, he had to do. He had to meet those qualifications. It's just like when you go to a job and it says that you have to have the qualifications of being a manager for 3 years. You can't go in there and have the qualifications of a manager for being a manager for 2 years. It has to be for 3 years. Well, guess what? It's the same thing with those prophecies in the Old Testament. Those things was written concerning him. He had to come and fulfill those things. And that's how we realize and understand that he's the Messiah. So he says in Matthew 5 and 17, think not that I come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am come not to destroy, but to fulfill. Now we know what fulfill means. Verse 18, read.
For verily I say unto you,
Come on.
until heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law until all be fulfilled.
That means everything that was written in the law has to be fulfilled. Everything concerning him has to be fulfilled. If everything concerning him is not fulfilled, what does that mean, warrior? If everything that was written in the law, Yahushua did not do concerning him, what does that mean?
It wasn't
It wasn't Yahushua. He wasn't the Messiah. If it says that he has the thirst for vinegar, let's say he did everything, but he missed that one thing. He didn't say he was thirsty. He didn't receive vinegar. Is that the Messiah? La'ah. He had to do everything concerning him. In verse 18, that's why it says, for verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot and one tittle in no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled. Read.
Verse 18. Whomsoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven.
Unfortunately, when you go to your local congregation, they tell you that you don't have to follow the law because Christ came and fulfilled the law. That's what they teach you, meaning to their understanding from their hermeneutics, from their spiritual essence, from their spiritual application, they teach that Yahushua, which is known to the world as ignorantly known to the world as Jesus Christ, he came and fulfilled the law, and now we don't got to do anything in the law. You can be a homosexual now. You can eat pork. You can eat swine. You can eat crabfish. You can do whatever you want in the law. Why? Because Christ came and fulfilled the law. And now that's all you have to do is believe in him and say, I believe in him. And now you're free. Now you're good. Now you can be gay. Now you can eat swine. Salakia. Now you can eat swine. Now you can marry white women. Now you can make covenants with them. Now you can do anything that's against the law because the law is not in effect anymore. But that's not what the scriptures is saying. Give me 1 John 5 and 3. That's not what the scriptures is saying. We're going to go back to that. We're going to conclude with that. But unfortunately, we are taught completely contrary to these scriptures. What you got?
Book of John, chapter 5, verse 30.
This is how you love God. This is how one express that they love God. When a Christian say they love God, this is how you show that you love God. Read.
For this is the love of God.
This is the love of God. This is what he's getting ready to read now. Right now is the love of the Most High Power. Read.
That we keep his commandments.
Hold on, wait a minute. But in the commandments, it says that I can't eat swine. But now I'm reading in the New Testament that this is the love of God. Read it again.
That we keep his commandments.
Come on.
And his commandments are not grievous.
It's not hard. His commandments is not hard. What are you talking about? Give me 1 John 4 and 3. So his commandments, keeping his commandments, right? So how can you break his commandments? How can you go against his commandments? All right. Give me 1 John 3 and 4. Read.
The book of 1 John, chapter 3, verse 4.
Come on.
Whomsoever committeth sin, transgression also the law.
So if you commit sin, you do what?
Transgress also the law.
So you're breaking God's law. This is how you become a sinner. You know the very law that he said that Christians, your pastors say he fulfilled and you don't got to follow? You good? You can break it? Listen to what he said. Read that again.
From the top.
Con,
sir.
Read.
Whomsoever committeth sin.
Whoever what?
Committeth sin.
So this is sin. Go ahead.
Transgression also the law.
So you transgress the law. You break God's law in the Old Testament. When he said, think not that I come to destroy the law, but to fulfill. And we read what fulfill means. Fulfill means to write about things concerning him. Read that again.
Whomsoever committeth sin, transgress also the law.
Transgress the law. Anything else on that?
For sin is the transgression of the law.
That's what sin is. Sin is transgression of the law. That's what it is. The very law that y'all saying that we don't got to follow no more, read it again.
Whomsoever committeth sin.
So if you eat swine, read it again.
Whomsoever committeth sin.
If you marry a white woman, read it again.
Whoever committeth sin.
If you do anything that the Bible tells you, if you have sex with your woman and then you come into the sanctuary, that's sin. Anything that's written in the law concerning the Most High Power, it is what? Read it again.
Whomsoever committeth sin, transgress also the law.
That is in the New Testament. If you break those laws in that Old Testament, that's transgression of the law. Go back to Matthew 5 and 18. Read it again. Like, we have to drive this in because unfortunately our people just don't understand that they have to follow. How can you say you love God and you don't follow his law?
Right.
How can you say you love me and you don't do what I tell you to do? How can you say that if you say you love me? This is what the Most High Power is saying. You saying you love me? Well, I said don't eat swine. I said don't marry and make covenants with the other nation. Don't do things that's in my law. Homosexuality is forbidden. Honoring your mother and father, that's where it's at. That's how you live long. We don't give a hell about that. We want to fight against our mother and father because we want our life to live short. We want to be killed by the age of 25. Sex is marriage. You want to run around and have sex with anybody you want. And then when you have sex with anybody you want, you know what you do? You kill the baby. You kill the son. You're taking a gamble. You don't know if it's a boy or a girl, but I'm going to kill whatever's in there. Whatever's in there, I'm murdering it. I'm killing it. I'm destroying it. Yo, get a maintenance hospital worker to vacuum this out of me. I'm breaking this law. Why? Why is it so easy to break God's law? Because we've been taught that we don't have to follow God's law. We've been taught that Christ fulfilled it, and that's all we got to do is believe in him, and we good. That's what we've been taught. That right there is silly talk. That is so far from the truth. Where you at, Doc?
Matthew 5 and verse 18.
Come on.
For verily I say unto you, until heaven and earth pass,
Come on.
one jot or tittle shall in no wise pass from the law until all be fulfilled.
To all be fulfilled. Well, what is all being fulfilled? Us coming out of the land of the north. Go ahead. We read that earlier. If you didn't catch it and you just came in, go back and watch the whole thing. Go ahead.
Verse 19.
Come on.
Whomsoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments.
I read this all the time. You know why? Because I was a pastor. I taught that it's okay to break the law. Read it again, verse 19.
Whomsoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments.
I taught that you can break one of the least of commandments all the time. Loving your brother, loving your sister, black on black crime. Yeah, I was against it, but it was okay to have something against your brother. It was okay to have something against your sister. Well, that's not commanded by the Most High Power. He didn't tell us that it's okay to have something against your brother and sister. Matter of fact, he said you should not let the sun go down with you being upset with your brother or your sister. That's what he said, right? Salakia, if I may, hold that and go to Leviticus. I'm coming. Go to Leviticus chapter 17. Salakia. Matter of fact, Salakia, don't worry about it. Just go back to Matthew 5 and 19. 5 and 19. Where was you at?
Middle of 19.
Go ahead. What I was getting ready to read, what's the time? All right, what I was getting ready to read was Leviticus 19 and 17, Salakia 16 through 19. Take that time out to go read it for yourself, because it's important to understand that getting along with Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American people is vital to our people. It's vital to this spiritual battle that we're fighting. Where you at?
Middle of 19, sir. You can start from the top.
Con,
sir. Book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 19.
Come on.
Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven.
That's what we do in the Christian church. That's what we teach. That's all over this United States. This is all over the earth. You do not have to follow God's law. You good. It's all you got to do is say, I believe in the name that they ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, and you good. Go ahead.
But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven.
That's what we do in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. That's what we do. We teach the same. We teach that he shall, Salakia, we teach that you should follow God's laws, his statutes, and his commandments, and you're going to be great in the kingdom of the Most High Power. Unfortunately, I ran out of time. I got a lot more to say. I'll be back on Wednesday getting into this class. But right now, any questions online? Any questions in class? I'm going to turn the class over to Priest and Officer Mataziala.
CBK security announcements. Rules for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to learn and show themselves to the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. after 6 months. If the brother or sister is interested in a particular person, they are to seek counsel from the heads. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:8-10, means 10th in Hebrew, ma'ashra. That's 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Priest funds, free will offering for the priest. It's not mandatory, it's whatever amount you like to donate. Upcoming holy convocations, we have the Feast of Dedication, which is Saturday, December 17th. Come out, it will be held here at 202 North DuPont Boulevard. Bring something to dedicate to the school, to this temple. All right? That's what the Feast of Dedication is all about, is rededicating this temple to the Most High. You can read about it more in the book of Maccabees, First Maccabees, I believe, chapter 3 or 4, around that. Like anything that you can possibly, books, like if you have apocryphas, if you have Bibles that you want to donate to the school, or give to the school to build the school up. It's whatever you think the school needs, you're welcome to get it. All right? And if anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black boots, shirt, pants, headband, or scarf. With that being said, individual, Elijah, please stand. Isupk, Elijah, Rock,
Yahweh Shemi Awashabar Thumb.
Yahweh Sar, he's term, on his security salute. Individual, Isupk, Elijah, Rock,
Yahweh Shema Thumb Shemi Awashab.
Yahweh Classes. All right. You don't got to do nothing to the table. Right here. Yeah, there.
Excuse me, I got a question.
Somebody give me Romans 13 and 11.
I have a question.
It's a rival car, man. Give me Romans 13 and 11.
Khan, this is the book of Romans, chapter 13, verse 11. And that, knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep.
Brother, you need a water?
Thank you.